Today's lesson is 3.4, adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. In this lesson, we will add and subtract fractions with common and uncommon denominators and add and subtract mixed numbers. When we are adding and subtracting fractions with common denominators, it takes two steps. We add or subtract the numerators, keeping the denominators the same, and then we reduce to lowest terms or simplify to a mixed fraction if the sum is an improper fraction. So step one is I add the numerators. 1 plus 3 is 4, and I keep the denominator the same. Now I need to check if I can reduce it to lowest terms by finding the greatest common factor of 4 and 8. I can divide both by 2, and I can divide by 2 again. And then the only number I can divide 1 and 2 by is 1. So my greatest common factor is 2 times 2 times 1, which is 4. This means I can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 4 to get my lowest term fraction of 1/2. You'll notice that's the same numbers that are on the bottom rung of our ladder. Subtracting follows the same suit. I keep the denominator the same and I subtract the numerators. 3 minus 1 is 2. I need to check if I can reduce by any greatest common factor. I can divide both 2 and 8 by 2 and get 1/4. The only number I can divide 1 and 4 by is 1, so my greatest common factor is 2 times 1, which is 2. And if I divide both my numerator and denominator, I get 1/4, which again is the same as my bottom rung of my ladder. I want you to try these two in your notebook. Press pause while you're doing the work. Press play when you're ready to see the answer. When I want to add and subtract fractions with uncommon denominators, I just need to add an additional step to start. I need to change the fractions to be equivalent with common denominators using the least common multiple. So I have 5/8 plus 1/4, so I want to find the least common multiple of my denominators, 8 and 4. I can divide both of those by 2. I can divide both by 2 again. And now I have the 1. So when I do my least common multiple, I need to multiply 2 times 2 times 1 times 1 times 2. So the least common multiple is 8. I want to have both of my fractions have a denominator of 8. Well, 5/8 already has a denominator of 8. So I just need to change 1/4. I need to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number, where I will get 8 as the denominator. Well, 4 times 2 is 8, so I need to multiply the numerator by 8, and I get 2/8. So now I have the problem 5/8 plus 2/8, and I can pick up from the step you learned previously. When they have the same denominator, I just add my numerators. And then I check for lowest terms. Well, 7 is prime, so it only has the factor of 1 and 7. So 7 and 8 only share a factor of 1, so it's already in lowest terms. Subtracting fractions with uncommon denominators follows the same steps. First, I need to find the least common multiple of my two denominators, which is 6 and 12. I can divide both of those by 2, and I get 3 and 6. I can divide both of those by 3, and I get 1 and 2. So then I have my L, and so I have 2 times 3 times 1 times 1 times 2, which is 12. So I want both of my fractions to have a denominator of 12. Well, 1/12 already does, so I need to change 5/6 to be an equivalent fraction where my denominator is 12. So I think, what can I multiply 6 by to get 12? Well, that's 2, and I would multiply the numerator by that. So I have 10/12 minus 1/12. Well, that's 9/12. Then I want to check to see if that's in lowest terms. Well, I can divide both 9 and 12 by 3, and I get 3/4. So the greatest common factor is 3, so I divide both of those by 3, and I get 3/4, same as that bottom row of my ladder. I want you to try these two in your notebook. Press play when you're ready to check your work. When I want to add or subtract mixed numbers, the first thing I need to do is change from a mixed fraction to an improper fraction. You learned how to do that in an earlier lesson where you make the mixed mad. You multiply the denominator by the whole number, you add the numerator, and you keep the denominator the same. So 2 1/2 is equivalent to 5 halves. You do the same thing for your second mixed number, and you get 11 thirds. So now you're adding fractions with uncommon denominators. So you need to find the least common multiple of 2 and 3. Well, both 2 and 3 are prime, so the only number that they can be divided by is 1. In this case, your LCM is going to be this whole line, 2 times 1 times 3. So we want to make these to be sixths. So I need to multiply the 2 by 3 thirds, and I need to multiply the 11 thirds by 2 halves. So I get 22 sixths and 15 sixths, and we're adding them. So I have 37 sixths. Now I need to reduce when needed, which means if it was a proper fraction, I would make sure it's in lowest terms. If it's an improper fraction, I make sure to reduce to a mixed fraction. So if it's an improper fraction, remember division is the action. So I divide the numerator by the denominator, and I get 6 1/6. Subtracting follows the same process. First, I need to change my mixed fractions to improper fractions by multiplying, adding, and keeping the same denominator. So I have 13 thirds, and I have 11 sixths. I need to make sure they have common denominators, so I want to find the LCM of 3 and 6. I can divide both of them by 3. And so my LCM is 3 times 1 times 2, which is 6. Well, 11 sixths is already there, so I just need to change my 13 thirds. So I have to think, what can I multiply by 3 to make 6? Well, I can multiply it by 2. I have to do the same thing to the numerator, so I have 26 sixths. So now I want to subtract 26 minus 11 is 15. I keep the same denominator. It's an improper fraction. I want to change it to mixed, so division is the action. And I get 2 and 3 sixths. But this 3 sixths is not in lowest terms because they share a greatest common factor of 3, so I have 2 1/2. I want you to try these two problems in your notebook. Press play when you're ready to check your work. So today we added and subtracted fractions with common and uncommon denominators, and we added and subtracted mixed numbers.